Still unpacking. Still unpacking. What's good, everybody? We live, baby. I see we got 2 in the chat already. Was waiting. Y'all miss your boy? Cause I miss y'all too. I'm back, baby. Had to go get up, do my workout this morning. We training Boss. We got Diamond in the house. Sweethearts at work. What's up, Jordan? What's up, Doug? What's good, Douglas? What's good, man? Y'all can hear my phone going crazy already because we're getting our little... We got eyes at practice right now. Literally. Eyes literally at practice right now. And it's not these 4 eyes, but it's some eyes that's connected to the network. We got eyes at practice right now. Operating under Alabama Voice of College Football. So... team reporting will be coming up a little bit. We'll be getting our interviews and stuff from the coaches today. Wait, let me see. Is there media availability today? Double check. I think it's tomorrow is when we'll see our next media availability. And we're coordinating our team to be on site here the last week of team reporting availability. We don't want to go the whole time. We're not reporting every day. We would just want to go that last week before the final season. Before the final week before the season kickoff. That's when we'll have our presence. But we'll be doing our whole week of content that we'll be doing throughout the season that week. So as you all come in, drop the likes, share the video. Setting the studio up back there. Getting everything set up. Let me see if I can take this off real quick. We're setting the studio up back there. We getting it set up. Waiting for the internet company to come and set up so we can get everything up and running. I got my other screen being dropped off here soon. Got a lot of stuff going on. Mike Jones, yeah, I got team coverage this year. No practice today. Yeah, that's what I was saying. My days are mixed up, Jordan. So before we get into it, man, let me tell y'all about the weekend. Let me tell y'all about the weekend and what happened this weekend that threw like everything off. Almost had me discouraged, but God is a keeper, and he knows how to keep us focused on the things that are important. All right. Where's my... Where is it? Official. All right, here we go. So we have media starting right now. Media day is kicking off right now. Our official first appearance will be no, not tomorrow. When is this one? Tuesday, August 19th. That's when we, Coach Smook, Alabama Voice of College Football, that's when we'll be making our first on-scene appearance for team reporting. So August 19th, Tuesday, August 19th, that's when we'll be reporting on campus. I think we're going to have 2 or 3 times between now and then when we'll actually be reporting, going on campus to do some post-practice reports. But no practice today. We pick up practice tomorrow, 9:20 tomorrow morning. And then we will have our footage and things to be going, reviewing practice and getting our reports from practice, how things we're looking. We'll have that. We'll start doing that at 11, doing a little check-in. But also be checking out the Voice of College Football, Alabama Voice of College Football. That's what we'll be doing, our primary post-practice reports. I had to see how many people was in here. 13 people in the live. Continue to share it up. We got 1 more minute, and then we're going to start our conversation. Today, on today's live topics of conversation, we want to get into it. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I'm getting text messages from left and right. Just talking about, we're basically making a lot of announcements today. Officially back home. Glad to be back home. Glad to see y'all. Good to see everybody. What's good, Brett? Don't know who that is, but y'all make sure y'all watch him. Y'all know what time it is. It's that time of year, y'all. We start getting the weird stuff going on. I gotta get a new mount, y'all. I gotta get a new mount. Gotta get a lot of stuff before the season kicks off. We missing on a lot of equipment. New lapel set. We need new stands, tripod. Need a lot of stuff. So definitely gonna need y'all support in pushing the word out so that we can have those people supporting us. But yeah, y'all, I'm excited to be back home. First of all, let's just tell the story. Story time. Let's go first 5 minutes. Let's tell story time. Welcome in. If you're just tapping in, hit the like, share the stream, let everybody know we're live. We're giving updates on our coverage for this season when it comes to Alabama football. We got some recruiting announcements, some players that's currently committed. What's up, Wizzle, man? Some players that's currently committed to the University of Alabama. We'll be going to share some time with them on Friday nights this fall as they continue to finish out their high school careers and transition into the collegiate levels. As you all know, Xavier Griffin and his mom, Jay, we are all family, tight family. Jamarian Matthews, the whole Gainesville family has shown Coach Smook Network so much love. So we'll be introducing them to the Alabama Voice of College Football family and getting that presence known across these high school platforms. Not just Coach Smook. It's not about me. It's about my team and the team that we're a part of, which is Alabama Voice of College Football. So make sure y'all go share some love over there and be looking for your informative content over there. You know, it might not be as creative and deep diving into the content side of things, but it will be informative. That's where you want to go to get your verbatim information that you can pass along and say, hey, this is where we got it from. This is the source. This is the Alabama centered, not just high school, not other colleges. That's strictly for Alabama news, Alabama information that you all demand and love to know about. So Alabama Voice of College Football, make sure y'all go subscribe over there. Now, into what's current, man. So, as you all know, I was gone for 19 days. I was in Gentry, Arkansas, getting my personal training certification. You're looking at a certified personal trainer, Coach Smook. For all your fitness needs, you can definitely inbox your boy. We'll be launching hard launch September 1st. We'll be making a huge announcement, working on the logo now for that, and then just going to launch it. We've already had a plan. We've already had everything set in place. Going to be part of a gym, getting in the gym right now, looking at a couple prospects. But you're looking for some personal training needs, I got you. Definitely tap in on the Smook Hines page. That's where you'll see a lot of that content being posted with the fitness work. Again, that's Smook Hines on YouTube. And you can follow me at Coach Smook on all other platforms where we'll be mixing in that fitness content. But that's where I was. Now, long story short, at the beginning, it was a struggle getting there. And at the end, it was a struggle getting back. It was definitely not the best traveling experience. I will not ever fly Delta Airlines ever again. If I have anybody that is a Delta advocate or somebody that works with Delta Airlines, I will never fly Delta Airlines again. Worst experience I've had in, I don't know how many years I've been flying. It's probably since I was 17, 18 years old, and I'm 35 now. And this is the first time I've flown Delta. And I hated it, the whole experience. From getting pushed, getting my flight rescheduled, to getting that flight, getting put on the waiting list for that flight, and then seeing my name on the waiting list, to getting skipped over for a person that wasn't the same, ethnicity as me. And it was obvious that that's what the move was. But didn't trip, trusted God in the process, called my instructors and the staff that were part of the UHP. They made sure they got me there safely. And also coming back, similar situation, didn't even miss the flight this time. Flight got canceled and rescheduled without me even knowing. In the middle of, in mid-flight to my next connecting flight, got to Atlanta about 9 p.m. Got to Atlanta 9 p.m. Friday night. After waiting on my plane, I got to the airport about 9 o'clock that morning. In Arkansas. Didn't get to Atlanta till 9 p.m. that night because my 5 o'clock flight got pushed back to 6:40 something. We didn't take off till like 7:15. Didn't get to Atlanta till almost 9. Missed my other flight by 15 minutes. They rescheduled me a flight. Check this out. My flight was rescheduled for Sunday. I was supposed to be in Birmingham Friday night. So when I got the notification, my flight had not left yet. I got to Atlanta, going through the app saying, hey, where are my bags at? Track my bags. My bags were in Atlanta at the time that the flight was canceled from Atlanta to Birmingham. You know, they said that my bags were going to be able to be picked up at baggage claim. Went down there for an hour and some change, waited for my bags just to find out they had been flown to Birmingham. They had been flown to Birmingham. So I spent Friday night in Atlanta with no luggage. Luckily, shout out to my wifey. She came to the rescue. She was coming to meet me in Birmingham anyways, but she just went ahead and came to Atlanta. We ended up I booked one room, right? And ended up finding out that the location that I was at was not going to be in the location I need to be for my meeting. So before I could even cancel it or even confirm the booking, they had already charged my card. So I had to go through that process of trying to get the refund initiated, started that process, and had to spend an extra $100 or something to book a room. And I'm glad that I did, because it was a better room. It had continental breakfast. It was pet friendly. We had our baby Diamond with us. So getting back with Bay and baby girl Diamond, that was awesome. Got to the room, didn't get to sleep until probably like 2 o'clock in the morning Saturday, y'all. Just trying to get everything organized. Woke up Saturday, met up to get my baby boy. Y'all can see him out there. He out there in the yard now laying down. My boy is out there. Everybody say hi to my boy Boss. I don't know if y'all can see him real good. He's the new member of the AAA family, man. That's my boy. Look at him. Everybody say, hey, Boss. He a Bama boy. Born in Georgia in that Bulldog territory. But if y'all haven't seen him, that's my baby boy right there, man. Just adding him to the family. He's an XL bully breed. He's probably going to get up to probably 160 pounds. He's one of the bigger in his litter. Yeah, he's a big one. He's only 13 weeks. And his name is spelled B-A-W-S, not B-O-S-S. B-A-W-S. I always spell my dog's names weird. That's been the thing since I've had my dogs. That's my son, though. That's my boy. I haven't had a purebred like that since my bishop passed in 2016. That was a hard moment for me. Promised myself I wouldn't get another one in. But at this time and space in my life, I need Boss. Definitely, he's going to be a certified, what they call him, behavioral companion. Service dog. We're doing the service dog training, getting that paperwork squared away, so he can go everywhere. He's going to be part of the content as we continue to grow. And yeah, that's my boy. What's up, Stanley? Good to see y'all, man. Yeah, at that point, they figured you'd rent a car and drive. That's what they thought, Mary J. But look at God, we was able to get a room. Delta is horrible, man. Delta is horrible. Facts, Dylan. I'd rather battle Royale for my seat on Southwest than fly Delta. Hey, you know what? At least with Southwest, you know you're gonna be on time. I didn't see any cancellations from Southwest or American. What is it? Is it American Airlines? I usually fly American Airlines. And I've never had an issue with them. And they're very friendly towards veterans. They're very veteran friendly. Shout out to the 23 in the chat. Continue running the likes up. So that's what happened. That's why the weekend kind of got threw off. That's why today isn't going. This morning didn't go like I planned it. But we're still here. And we're able to dive into our Alabama football content and our coverage that we're going to be providing. Like I said, the studio is being set up. I'm just waiting for a few more things to show up here that we need to set up. We got the internet being set up sometime today. Hopefully before noon, we can have the internet here, at least setting it up. And we'll be able to do our live call-in show tonight. But before the live call-in show tonight, we will be on Alabama Voice of College Football. And I believe that show starts at 7 p.m. I don't know. Let me text Jackson real quick. Let me see. So, Jackson, if you in here, what time are we going live on Alabama Voice of College Football? That way I could let everybody know to tune in over there. That's where we'll be doing our platform style show. We'll be doing a primetime live. It'll be myself, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey will be tapping in, and Coach Burke. So you'll have a 4 personnel panel. I'll be bringing some 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jackson's in there. There you go. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Alabama Voice of College Football. As a matter of fact, Jackson, if you could provide the link to the channel so that everybody that's tapping in can go ahead and go there. And I need to make Jackson a moderator on this channel. Jackson, you're now a moderator on the Coach Smook Network. That's my business partner, my brother, my co-host, panelist for Alabama Voice of College Football. He'll be actually handling all of the administrative things and all of the promotional stuff for the Alabama Voice of College Football channel. He does a great job keeping us organized on that side. So anything I need as far as Alabama Voice of College Football and how we move, I go to Jackson. I'm driving it, but he's really got the keys. You know, I'm driving, but he got the keys. He got the map and everything. So shout out to my guy Jax for being on this side and supporting, man. And then also, don't forget, man, our memberships have been growing lately. People, I don't know what I said or did last week to get people interested, but we have had a lot of crazy interactions with our fan base. Something cool that happened too while I was at the airport. I don't know if I got to tell y'all this story, but I was on the phone. I was on the phone with my girl, and Jackson, I think you should be able to pin that comment. You should be able to pin it now that you're a moderator. Yeah, I pinned it. 26 days till kickoff. But so I'm at the airport in Arkansas, and then after this story, I'm gonna get into our topics of conversation. Not necessarily what we'll be talking about right now, but what you'll be able to talk about and divulge in tonight on Alabama Voice of College Football. And then after that, we're going to shoot for a call-in show here on the Coach Smook Network. So Alabama Primetime Live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then we'll be done with that around 7. And then right after that, we'll be going live on the Coach Smook Network for our first call-in show of the season. Hopefully y'all are ready to talk some Alabama football. I got some B-roll, some footage things for y'all to react to. We'll open up and start talking about that. We'll look at all the interviews that's been happening with the coaches, the players, from the player availability. We'll be talking about that. Today is Alabama Media Day, so there's no practice today. You'll see a lot of content coming out with Alabama Media Day. Tomorrow we pick back up with practice at 9:20 in the morning. So, in the Voice of College Football, we are not pressed about getting on campus and doing the day-to-day team reporting, being on campus every day for team reporting. Our thing is, because of how much connection we have and the type of information that we're being forwarded from the university and from our eyes on site, we want to continue the content flow at a consistent basis, right? So a lot of things that you will see us post-practice report on the Alabama Voice of College Football side will literally be that 30-minute show, 30-minute segment of post-practice reports, everything that we're getting from practice, right? I'm making 4 trips between now and kickoff to T-Town. And most of that is not going to be able to be live content. That's one of the stipulations of being credentialed. You can't have live content when you're covering the team. It has to be post reporting. It can't be live while we're doing it. Now, what I'm doing as far as on campus with Coach Smook here on the Coach Smook Network, we can do that live. So if we accidentally run into a few Alabama players while we're on campus with Coach Smook, that's fine, as long as we're not doing it under a reporting standpoint, interactive, creative content surrounding the content. So that's what you're going to get on the Coach Smook Network this season. And that's what we're going to do now. Our team reporting, having the sideline access post-practice reports, post-game reporting, and interviews. That'll be on Alabama Voice of College Football. So I keep saying that because I want y'all to know that's where all the good stuff gonna be at. All the stuff you need to know, and that you could clip and say, this is the information. There's no more informative content from my side. I'm going to provide the information, but it's going to be from a reactionary standpoint. All right? Going to be from a reactionary standpoint. That way we can continue to create creative content around it, informative and engaging, entertaining content around it. So, tapping into it, y'all. Practice has been very, 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 very intense. I've been getting other clips, some things that you all have not been seeing, where we're seeing, O-line, D-line getting at it. Last year it wasn't preach. You know, Coach Kalen DeBoer isn't the type to incite all of that. But you got an energetic staff around you. Coach Ryan Grubb is a very competitive-minded coach. He likes to see his guys get after it, especially the wide receivers when they're having to do blocking drills or, you know, getting into the ones or the 7-on-7 pass skills part of the practice, the blocks of practice where it's pass skills 7-on-7. The competition is ramping up each and every day. So some of the things that we've been seeing and reported on, you know, the secondary has, to me, in my personal opinion, based off what I've been hearing, the secondary has really been winning. And that's not a bad thing when you're talking about the amount of talent on that side of the ball and the amount of new guys getting phased into this offense on the offensive side. Now, the good thing, the counter to that, the good thing about it is when you have your quarterbacks performing efficiently to where during the segments of 7-on-7 where you're moving the ball, you're actually going through phases of your offensive game plan and calling plays in different sets and seeing what type of reactions you get from your offensive players. On the high side of that is you're not seeing a lot of turnovers and bad reads by quarterbacks. You're just seeing great physical play through the ball with the DBs and the wide receivers. So to have that level of competition already being implemented in week one, after week one of the first full week of practice, I'm glad to hear that. Some names that are popping on the offensive side. We continue talking about the secondary, but the offensive side, defense, Rico Scott, Jalen Hill, Cole Adams, all making strides to really solidify themselves in this rotation. Last year, Brooks, the true freshman, a lot of hype in the spring. Not so much coming into the fall now that you see a lot of your veteran guys being healthy and able to really carry over all of that stuff. So expect Lashia Brooks to be in a rotation, but not in such a heavy dosage early in the season. And I say that because it's safer to play these young guys, especially you got Derek Meadows and Lashia Brooks as your true freshman wide receivers in this class. They both were able to show up during spring ball and implement themselves, show their explosiveness with the basics of the playbook and how they were able to retain things. I look for them to make impact with their opportunities, limited opportunities. I wouldn't be mad if Lashia Brooks is only getting 10 to 14 snaps a game. You know, you're looking at the amount of snaps the offense averaged last year, which was a down year. The offense only averaged 58 snaps a game last year. You look at years compared to when Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have been together, their offenses averaged 69 snaps over that time span together, and that's a total of 7 years as offensive coordinator, head coach, you know, combo. 7 years of that, or offensive coordinator assistant with Kalen DeBoer being the coordinator and Ryan Grubb being the assistant, where they have averaged close to 70 snaps a game. So you look at true freshmen like A.K. Deere, A.K. Deere, Derek Meadows, Caleb Edwards, Marshall Pritchett, Lashia Brooks, those freshmen with 10 to 12 snaps, if they get into that area and range, that's a lot of experience being gained and not putting so much on the shoulders for them to digest and try to project. You know, it's gonna be something crazy to see. I see a lot of people continue to ask about Jaylen Hill's. I think Jaylen Hill has just been the consistent of that room. With everything that's come against him and as far as his journey, since he's been at Alabama dealing with the injuries, he's about as consistent as you can be. And then, you know, I think the confidence in the leg is getting back. You know, we've seen him continue to practice in that brace. And I want him to continue to practice in that brace. I feel like the more explosive he can be with the brace on, the more confidence he can continue to build. I think that mentally, from the mental standpoint of things, because he's dealt with some serious injuries when it comes to those lower extremities. And you're a wide receiver. That's 95% of what you are, what you can do with your legs. You know, and the other 5% is what you do with your hands, right? It always starts at the base. So he's never had an issue with his catching. I think that's going to be something that he just continues to build on. But with the leg injuries, you want to see the mental side of things. And you could tell in certain routes, he's not as confident as planning and sticking and pushing off of that leg. So seeing that build throughout these practices during the fall camp has been a great thing. And with the team reporting, with some of our sources reporting. Let me see, what else? Another wide receiver in the room, somebody that I'm excited about. And I told you all, do not write him off so soon. Just because it wasn't a lot of hype during his transition doesn't mean that he can't develop. Jaylen Embach is probably the best athlete on the team. I'm talking about the best athlete. The best athlete, top. You put him anywhere on the field and he can bring you quality production. If every quarterback in the the quarterback room went down today, at practice, God forbid, I believe this staff would say, hey, Bach, we need you to slide over the quarterback. And I believe Bach being that quarterback at the collegiate level, you can design some offense, something similar to what we saw from Jalen Milroe last year, that style of offense, and we can have an effective offense, probably with a better arm, a more accurate arm than Jalen Milroe or whatever the phases. I'm just saying, hypothetically, when you talk about the best athlete, look at my boy. He looks so nice, y'all. I got to give y'all a moment. Let me give y'all a moment. That boy he is a dog, man. That joker going to be, y'all, 13 weeks old. He's only 13 weeks old. The camera don't do it no justice. Y'all don't get to feel him. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. He trying to figure out what's going on. Let me go outside. I'm gonna walk and talk with y'all for a little bit. I'm gonna walk and talk. I had y'all on the mirror, on the window. Diamond, you want to come outside, baby? Let me see if she want to come outside. Diamond, you want to come outside? Come outside. Good girl. There go Diamond, pretty self, y'all. There she go. So she's 5 years old. She's fully grown. He's only 13 weeks old. Yeah, he's only 13 weeks old. And they probably weigh about the same. Yeah, he's a big boy. What's good, Sully? Good to see you, man. I hate that I didn't get to meet up with you, man, this weekend. I was in Atlanta, y'all. I tried to meet up with my bro. The schedule just wasn't permitted. But good to see you in the chat, man. Roll Tide. So, back to it. Jaylen Embach, with the opportunities he's had, I think I had Embach as like the 6th or 7th guy in the rotation. And I say this, and I want y'all to listen again as I say this. It is not going to be crazy for Alabama to play 11 wide receivers in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a consistent 8-9-man rotation. But you get in those games where the game kind of gets away from you and you start seeing the team take a pad to lead or whatever. It wouldn't be crazy to see Derek Meadows with 18 snaps in a game, Latsier Brooks with, the same amount. Caleb Edwards, Marshall Pritchett in the receiving corps, A.K. Deere, and who's the other young Kevin Riley. Those guys getting crazy snaps. The guys that are further down as far as the rotation in their position groups wouldn't be crazy with the staff that we have. We've seen them, especially Coach Womack on the defensive side. We've seen them throw guys into impactful moments, meaningful game time, right? Game playing moments. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it start to translate on the offensive side, especially with Ryan Grubb being such an experienced offensive coordinator, play caller at the collegiate level. I think he has a keen sense on how to utilize situational players and put them in situations where they're going to thrive. It might be a secondary or defense where we're seeing a lot of zero coverage, and you just need all the speed you can have out there to continue to get guys crossing and getting their eyes looking at different spots, trying to make them switch up to more so of a pass off man coverage or a soft man coverage where they're kind of trying to blanket everything and cloud everything. So there's going to be a lot of things to look forward to seeing this year with the play calling. But when you're talking about assets available, Jaylen Embach, to me, is probably the most athletic and the most diverse athlete we have in that room right now. Just the simple fact that he played quarterback his junior and senior year of high school full time, came to college as a true freshman and got forced into a role to where he had to play impactful minutes in big games from week 1 throughout the whole season. Played in all 13 games last season. On the defensive side, got defensive snaps. And then, 12 games, and then played the last game of the season, the bowl game, on the offensive side and made an impact there. Could have made a big play had it been a better pass on time from Jalen Milroe. So I love having Mbakwe in that wide receiver room in that rotation, allowing this team just to continue to be more athletic. Bach would have been dope at Husky, but I hope he gets his snaps at wide receiver this year. I was worried about him for a second. Wade, See, that's the thing. A lot of people were worried for what? You got a guy that they willingly allowed to come over to the wide receiver side of the ball. The wide receiver room is stacked for a reason. They want to use anywhere from 7 to 9 guys. Go look at the stats at Washington. Roma Dunza, whatever the other guy name was, and then the tight end they had. Those guys were not just the primary targets. I mean, you're talking 55 receptions from one, 70 from another, 40 from another. The tight end had, I believe, 50 some receptions. So that's only, we're only accounting for 150 to 200 of the 500 pass attempts you took. So where the other, 250 plus pass attempts going? They're going to other guys on the roster. You're going to see your running backs get their attempts, their targets. You're going to see the rotational guys 5 through 8 get in the game, man. You're not just not going to throw the ball when they're in the game. You just got to be able to utilize everybody. And this staff, I believe, has more confidence in this personnel grouping that they have available and all the assets that they have available. Probably the most confidence they've had since they've been together as a staff during their time over these past 7 to 9 years. So it's going to be hard to game plan and scout against our wideouts this year with that rotation. 100%, Sully. I've been a firm believer in that when I was just looking at the skill sets available and just knowing what Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb want to do with the vertical passing scheme. You look at the assets that they bought in. Derek Meadows might not be a 4-4 guy, 4-5 guy, but he's a 37, 39-inch vert guy at 6'4", 6'5". Then you throw Isaiah Horton out there, another 6'4" frame that can go up and get it. I think he's right there at the 38, 39 mark with his vertical. Who else? Jalen Hill. We saw his vertical and his catch radius when his freshman year, playing with Jalen Miro as his quarterback. You look at that position, Roma Dunze, that's what he did. Got in space, vertical threat. His catch radius was up there. I love to see that X position go to work this year. Then you slide over to the slot, man. Just the asset you have available that can play it. Who's actually going to be there? I truly believe Jeremy Bernard is your go-to guy there in the slot to kind of disguise it up. But when you want to change the pace and you want to get the speed out there, you have guys like Latier Brooks and Jaylen Embach that are ready, right, to go in that slot position, slide out to the Z. You got Ryan Williams, Cole Adams is out there, Rico Scott is out there. So just those 9 names alone are giving us a solid 3-man rotation at each spot. And we're going to see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. But do not forget about the tight end room, or before I even get to the tight end room, do not forget about Bubba Hampton. Yes, he's been buried on the depth chart due to injuries, but just like an injury happened that kept him from being solid in the rotation, stop, Diamond. That's enough. That's enough. Move along. That's enough. No. Move along, baby. No. Move along. Balls, come get her. Come get her. But looking at the rotation, Bubba Hampton is a guy that we can't forget. All it's going to take is one game, guys, for a player to make one special play. We saw it last year with Rico Scott against Michigan on the jet sweep. Young man took a play that should have been a negative 4 yards, and he turns it into a 14-yard gain. And that's with no grip or anything on the ground. You know that Monsoon had the field messed up. So Mbakwe, that slot position, seeing him work in some of these drills, man, has been very it's been promising to see the technique, all the small things that he's making up for, that he wasn't asked to do as a wide receiver. It was just natural ability last year going into that Michigan game and going into the spring. So you can see that he's put the work in and it's coming together. Now, another topic of conversation I want to slide to is offensive line. I got to see a lot of clips from the O-line. Look at the makeup of this offensive line. You got a few 300-pounders, but if you was to look at the frame and the makeup, the anatomical makeup of this offensive line, I wouldn't, as an old head, when it comes to how offensive lines were supposed to look in the SEC, some would think that this offensive line is small. I would be on the other side of things. This is probably the most lean, athletic offensive line we've seen line up at Alabama. And I'm talking about your number 1 guy to your number 8 guy, number 9 guy, where it looks like, I'm not saying anything is in set in stone, but it looks like you're 1 through 8. You can still have a top 5 offensive line. Excuse me, y'all. I don't know why I'm yawning because I'm amped up, but it's really peaceful out here too. Uh, but I'm telling you, this offensive line, as far as the personnel available, this is going to be interesting to see how the first 5 come out. I've been seeing and hearing that Geno Vandermark is really making his case to be a starter, and that would be in front of Cam Dewberry at that left guard position. You got Jaden Roberts at right guard. You're trying to find someone with the same tenacity and to have this offensive line be on the same page. Gino, it wouldn't be crazy for Gino to have the head nod. You know, being that he has a little bit of continuity with the starters from last year. Wilkin Formby coming back, being solidified as the right tackle, the starting at right tackle. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. Meaning that the staff is really entrusting him after a rough year, a rough early start to his season last year as his first time as a true starter. I think he's doing a good job though. But the frame of this offensive line has me excited. The pin and pull system, the way that we like to put our offensive linemen in space in the run game, even in the quick screen game, you're going to need these guys to be a little bit more lean and able to move, right? But still able to carry some weight. I love the size that Parker Bruford has put on. Still hasn't eclipsed that 300-pound mark. I don't think is a good thing for him. That 290, 295 range right there where he's still lean but has a little bit more girth. I think he's perfect size. NFL centers, you don't see a lot of 300-pound NFL centers, right? He's the prototypical center for what you need in this offensive style, this vertical pass scale, this outside zone run blocking scheme that we're going to see a lot of from this staff, from this team this year, with all of the assets that we have in the running back room that can get lateral and really stick that foot in the ground and get north and south. I love what we're looking like. I love what we're looking like. The O line is the X factor this year for real. D line too. I think the D line is locked tight, and we'll talk about the D line here for a few minutes in a second. But want to highlight a few names on the offensive line. I talked about Geno Vandermark getting the nod. It seems as he's taking the lead as far as the starting left guard to start off this fall practice. But Cam Dewberry has been putting in work since spring, off season. You see him even he has changed his frame. A lot more muscle, lean muscle mass added onto this offensive line. I don't know if that was a group thing or something that was attached to them by the staff, but a lot of these offensive linemen have put on some lean muscle mass. Even talking to Rock Montgomery, looking at his frame, he looks more so like a defensive end than a offensive guard. You know, the frame is you don't see a lot of guts on the O line right now. A bunch of barrel chest, bunch of big stocky bodies moving guys on that line of scrimmage, and that's what you want. You want guys that can go 60 plus snaps in a game. You know, and we don't need the wind. I mean, their fatigue or their stamina to be an issue. You know, dealing with injuries and keeping the lower extremities protected is enough. Let's not have fatigue be an issue for the offensive line because it doesn't just affect their effectiveness post snap, pre snap. You know, we saw the pre snap penalties from the offensive line take a drastic decline from the year before, the last year on the Saban because of the condition of the offensive line. A lot of people were so happy about having the biggest offensive line in college football that last year on the Saban, but that played a factor in their ability to execute late in games when they've had to be on the field for 60 plus snaps. Now they're tired and they can't hold that big boy weight up, and they're jumping before the snap. They're hearing different things in the huddle because they're not able to focus. They're not conditioned. So losing that extra weight, getting lean, putting on that lean muscle mass without losing strength. I love what the offensive line is looking like. Cam Dewberry. Oh, oh my God, y'all stop making me young. Cam and Geno Vandermark providing us some good competition there, and we all saw it last year. It won't be crazy for this staff to utilize 7 offensive linemen in a consistent rotation. Caden Proctor, haven't heard much from Caden Proctor at the left tackle position, which might be a good thing. We've seen Caden at his best. We've seen Caden at his worst. If we can have both our tackles performing at the same level to kick the season off with, I think that sets the tone for the offensive line. I don't think the interior is the problem. I truly believe that the tackles is where we need the tone to be set. How do you set the tone with the tackles? You don't throw them in a lot of pass scale early on. You allow them to impose the will. You got two big bodies, 6'7" Wilkin Formby, 6'7" Caden Proctor, both 300 pounds plus, both of them with 6'9", 6'8" wingspans that can, get you that reach. I love what our tackles look like from the anatomical standpoint. Can we allow them to use their athleticism? Caden Proctor, not as athletic as Wilkin as far as getting out of space and, getting a hat on the body, but when he does execute at a high level, it's almost virtually unstoppable. You see the time that they can create for the quarterback. I think you give either one of QB1 or QB2, Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell, you give them 4 seconds to make decisions. That's a lethal offense to deal with. I don't think there's a secondary in college football that can match up against 4 receivers, 5 receivers right now at Alabama. If you can give me 2 different lineups or 2 different what we call it platoons of lineups as far as five receiving eligible receivers from Alabama. Don't matter the formation. Tight ends, you can put 30 personnel out there with just 3 tight ends and run 2 running backs and run pass scales out of that. You give us 4 seconds, I believe we will find success, right? You go to 13 personnel, you go to whatever personnel you with, it's going to be hard to cover in the passing game as long as we can establish the running game. And the interior run game, I believe, will be the go-to. I know Ryan Grubb and Coach Cap specialize in getting to the perimeter, stretching defenses left and right. But I think this year we'll see more of an implementation on the interior run game. What's up, Britt? Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. Wade ain't even got no wristband. He talking about Caden Proctor. Get your wristband, big dog. Dylan, what's good? Brussford is built just like Jason Kelch was for the Eagles. Facts. And he carries the same skill sets. Shout out to the big 45 in the chat, man, over here on YouTube. Continue running likes up as we continue to have a little conversation. We got about 18 minutes left on this live, man. Let's try to get to 25 likes on the stream. Now let's switch over to the wait. We talked about wide receivers, offensive line, tight ends. Good to see Marshall Pritchett. Looking like a dog. 18 looks like a freaking dog out there in those pads, man. He looks like a sophomore, junior already. The way he just looks out there in frame. Caleb Edwards showed up late. We probably won't hear much from Caleb this year. He has a lot to learn, has a lot to catch up with. Got to put some real mass on that frame, some grown man weight on that frame. Has the size already, but definitely want to get lean, want to get that body developed and get his skill set developed into the system because he's probably got the best hands in the tight end room. Just natural athlete, best receiver asset is between he and Marshall Pritchett, the two freshmen. Now, Jay Lindsey is somebody that I'm excited about this season to be in that H-back role, kind of like what we got from Robbie Oust the last 4 years he was here. Jay Lindsey. Danny Lewis. What do we expect from Danny Lewis this year playing behind Josh Cuevas? If Danny Lewis doesn't pop early in the season, he can be buried on the depth chart. And that's just me knowing the skill set. His skill set to me, and I'm just being honest, and it's not a slight against the young man. The skill set does not fit the scheme in my eyes. I don't see how it fits. I don't think he's as dynamic of a receiving asset as he needs to be in order to see the type of snaps that he that different system. All right, that's all I'm saying. Not saying that he's trash. I'm just saying the system entails desires a certain type of tight end as far as the receiving assets. I can't split Danny Lewis as a split tight end option. I can split Josh. I can split Marshall. I can split Caleb. I feel comfortable splitting Jay Lindsey. But Danny Lewis, I don't feel comfortable splitting him as far as him creating a actual mismatch or receiving problem to make the defense switch up what they're doing. But you can't put a regular corner out there on Josh Cuevas. You can't put a regular corner out there on Marshall Pritchett. You got to put some size out there. You're either going to walk a safety out there that's going to be a little bit bigger than a corner. You're going to change your nickel corner out there to give a different frame look, or you're going to send your linebacker out there to play zero coverage. Keep it true to the frame. So I look at that and I'm trying to figure out where Danny Lewis fits. The physicality on in the line of scrimmage as far as blocking in the run game has to be consistent. I think that's going to be one of the primary things he's going to be able to impact on. But to be able to do that first, then show up and show your receiving assets. That's going to be his key to seeing the field a lot. Because Josh Cuevas, Marshall Pritchett, to me, are my 1 and 2 out of that room coming out this season when it's all said and done. 30 likes. Let's go. Appreciate the 30 likes on the stream, y'all. Thank y'all. Cuevas, then Pritchett, Lewis will be good for blocking. I can't even say that because I like Jay Lindsey for blocking. I like Jay Lindsey for the H-back position. And I also like Lockwood. He's still there. You know, he got a lot of snaps when a lot of tight ends, all those tight ends went down during spring and they were being held out. So going to see that. Marshall Pritchett is a great blocker too. I think he's sitting right there at that 245, 250 range as far as his weight. And the 6'5" frame, he's literally what CJ Dupree was supposed to be for us. A better receiving asset, a lot faster. You're talking about a 4.53 tight end. Right now, a true freshman running a 4.5, 4.53, 4.5, 4.40. I love what we're seeing. I just got my email, y'all. So let's see what we get in from Alabama Athletics. All right, so check this out. They're sending out the watch list. Alabama's Ryan Williams, breaking news. Now, I guess it's not breaking news, but Ryan Williams was added to the Walter Camp Award watch list. Same list as Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry, and Tua Tagovailoa. Y'all know how to say the name. These preseason watch lists for those rewards, man, they mean something. Ryan Williams garnering a lot of attention as well. So he has been added to that watch list. What else? Let me go through my other stuff, man. We got a lot of emails that we can be catching up on. If y'all didn't hear, Deontay Lawson, LT Overton, and Tim Keenan were on the Bronco Nagurski Trophy watch list. So shouts out to them, 3 defensive players. Defensive linemen, linebackers are usually they're submitted for this reward. Tim Keenan, man, this is a year for him. But before we get into the defensive side, let's finish talking offense. We talk wide receivers, talk offensive line. Not going to talk much quarterbacks because we have a topic on it tonight on Alabama Voice of College Football, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure y'all subscribed over there. Alabama Voice of College Football. If you are not subscribed, we've pinned the live link to tonight's show. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Click on that real quick. I'm going to give y'all a few minutes. Click on that. Go subscribe to that channel. Set your notifications up because that's where I'll be live at with my brother Jackson Johnson as a co-host. We'll have Jeffrey on there, and we'll have Coach Buster. What you doing, Diamond? Coach B going to be on the lineup with us tonight. So good panel talk. It's going to be probably a 45-minute show, 45 minutes an hour, and then after that show, we'll be back here live on the Coach Smook Network for our call-in show. So for all y'all that's ready for college football, I want to hear you. I want to hear why you're ready. We'll have some topics laid out for y'all. One of them being, what game are you most looking forward to this season, this 2025 season? What game are you most looking forward to? Okay, that's going to be one of the discussion topics for the phone line, and then we'll be able to get into all of that. But before that, Alabama Primetime Live on the Alabama Voice of College Football. Make sure y'all go subscribe over there. I got my headshots, y'all. I got my headshot from school, from my course. Let me get this Google Drive downloaded. Russaw winning awards this season. I don't even, you know what? Because of how spread the edge position is, I don't think the edge rushers in today's college football game are getting a fair assessment. They're not getting counted. And I say this, they're being limited to what they do in the pass rush. Quay Russaw is going to be asked to do a lot from that Wolf position. And primarily it's in pass rush and being the defensive end. But you got to think, that's a linebacker, right? A true linebacker, outside linebacker. And this scheme, he's playing that wide 9, sometimes a 7, sometimes he lined up in a 5, sometimes he's head up over the tackle. A true defensive end at linebacker, being able to provide pass rush and run containment. Also, being asked to drop back in coverage, cover the flats. Sometimes you get put in a situation where a running back might get motioned out to the slot, and that's your job because the safety has to play in the middle of the field. So you might have a little bit over the top help, but you got to be athletic enough. So Rusar is definitely going to have an opportunity to showcase his athleticism and his IQ. Uh, I, if I had to pick, man, I think from that position, because of what Rusar is going to have to lead off doing, I think you're going to see a lot of impact from the likes of Justin Hill, Yancey Pierre. Those guys are going to be the guys that we might be the ones popping from that position because of the type of attention that Rusar demands and the impact that he's going to be able to create early. So making adjustments off of him as an offensive coordinator will make it a lot better for the guys behind him. You get what I'm saying, with their skill sets. So I think Rusar, he'll have a great season and early exit for the NFL. He's coming into his junior year. A lot of people keep forgetting Quay Rusar is going into his junior year. He's about to be redshirt sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, which is his third year on campus, eligible for the draft. I think he goes to the draft. He and James Smith probably make an early exit for the draft this year. Speaking of James Smith, healthy, back, looks very quick on his feet, light on his feet right now in early fall practice. Let's pray that this fall practice we don't come away with any serious injuries, y'all. Any serious injuries, especially for the inside linebackers, the interior defensive line. Let's hop over. I don't want to talk running backs and quarterbacks, and we'll be talking that on Alabama Prime Time. Let's go to the defensive side. Just want to highlight a few things. We've been harkening on the defensive backs. I love what the defensive backs are doing. A lot of good competition at that Husky position with guys trying to figure out who's going to be the best rotation. I don't think this is a secondary where you're going to have a set starter for each week. Maybe Damani Jackson and Cam Calhoun. I think Calhoun ends up being the solidified starter at that other corner position, with Xavier Brown playing just as many heavy snaps as he was last year. Whether he's your primary nickel guy or he's going to be a boundary guy, while Cam Calhoun is our floater at the rover position. But the position I want to talk about, Husky, you remember last year, Red Morgan was the guy manning that position. So you kind of get the type of skill set, mindset that you want at that position. Physical guys. I've seen Ike Taylor working at that position, but Dre Kirkpatrick has been a steady force at that position. Deshaun Jones also getting some of that nickel corner Husky rover role, right? Being able to have Husky rover interchangeable guys, skill sets that kind of match and are interchangeable. That's what you want there. That way, when leverage shifts in pre-snap, meaning if my Husky, we got the Husky and the free playing too high, and the rover is down because there's a slot, and that's the leverage, and you get a motion, you can shift. You don't have to float. You can shift and not worry about the Husky that was playing too high in too high assignment, walking down and getting into that assignment that was flipping the whole assignment and not worry about your skill sets dropping off, right? That's what you see with